Hello kitties and welcome back to my channel.
My name is Rogan and this is This Bahamian Gyal, your ultimate guide to the Bahamas and DC. What's poppin'? So this week I thought it would be pretty cool to share some of my absolute favorite Halloween movies of all time, or I should say horror films of all time. If you've been watching my channel from day one, you would know that I am the biggest Halloween fan. It is my favorite holiday of all time. As a matter of fact, if you've been watching my channel from day one, you know that my first official video was a Halloween makeup tutorial. And if you have not seen that, be sure to click the link up above. Okay, I know the Halloween genre is vast and everybody has their opinion about what should make the list and what is good. And you have some very snooty Halloween horror movie aficionados who say, oh, I cannot believe she put that on the list. That's okay. These are the movies that have scared me. I like movies that don't just give cheap jumps and cheap thrills. I like movies that are a bit cerebral, things that, that stay with me throughout the course of the day, month, and even years. So those are the movies that make this list. Now, there are some movies that aren't exactly like that, but they make my list because they scared me for different reasons. I get the heebie-jeebies about a lot of these movies. So if you're interested in knowing what those movies are, continue watching. So coming in at number 10, Ghostbusters 2. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, really? This is your scary list, Ghostbusters 2? But I have to think about the time frame when I watched this movie. This was 100,000 years ago. And I love the introduction of Vigo the Carpathian because I think he added an element that really scared me at the time. And I love Janosch as well, and the fact that he was converted. And if you guys have not watched this movie, then you don't know who these characters are. But they were really instrumental in taking, I felt, this horror genre to another level because it was something that stayed with me for years. Let me tell you something. If I watch Ghostbusters 2 today in the dark, like I can get really, really wigged out. That's how it scared me when I was like younger. When I was like, I don't even know how old I was when I watched this movie. I was a kid, and it scared the living daylights out of me. So there we go, Ghostbusters 2. Coming in at number 9, The Lost Boys. Kiefer Sutherland really did his thing in this movie. He didn't come across as some stupid, goofy vampire. He was a serious leader of this vampire group, and they just were wreaking havoc in California. And everything about this movie was just dark and gritty and scary to me, right down to the soundtrack, like the music, what they used. And for those of you who watched The Lost Boys, you know what I'm talking about. The movie features the two Coreys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, which those guys were really, really big in the 80s. And I actually loved them in the movie because they added a sense of humor to the movie. And not only that, they were thinking in the movie. Horror movies to me should always have somebody who is the brains of the operation. Somebody who's like, no, something is wrong here. But if you watch that movie, I guarantee you, it'll give you the heebie-jeebies because Kiefer Sutherland is just so freaking convincing as a vampire. And I love him dearly, but to this day, he scares the living daylights out of me. So for that reason, I'm putting The Lost Boys at number 9. As for my 8th pick, let me just say this. There are a lot of people who are already afraid of the dark. What are you talking about 30 Days of Night, which is the name of the next movie that's on my list. This is number 8, 30 Days of Night. It features one of my absolute favorites, Josh Hartnett. He's in Alaska, and of course, they are experiencing 30 Days of Night, which is supposed to be a routine thing in Alaska. I didn't research to see if it's absolutely correct, but this is what is happening in the movie. The sun does not come out, and of course, when the vampires get involved, this is perfect because, there's always a reprieve when the vampire is involved because, at least when the sun comes up, they're going to go away, like what happened in The Lost Boys. But 30 Days of Night, that's a lot of time to wreak havoc on a town. And so if you like that type of thrill, you're going to love this movie. And I thought it was really smart. A lot of critics panned it, but I thought the movie was really well done. And I think the acting was strong. And again, I thought it was just very different. It was a unique plot. And I really, the only thing that I had an issue with this movie is that it didn't explain where the vampires came from. That was my problem with this movie. It didn't explain where the vampires came from. But you know what? I don't even need to know where they came from. All I know is I don't need to be going to Alaska for a damn thing because if they experience in 30 Days of Night, Rogan can't be there. But that's number 8 on my list, 30 Days of Night. And clearly I have a thing with numbers because my number 7 pick is 28 Days Later. A chimpanzee is infected with a virus known as rage. And of course, some animal rights activists, as they usually do, had to free the chimpanzee. And of course, the chimpanzee gets out and infects people. The thing I love about this movie was filmed in the UK. And I love the fact that it really shattered the zombie genre for me. Usually you're so accustomed to like the zombies just being so slow, walking lethargic, and they're after your brain and that sort of thing. But this movie had, I mean, these zombies were in a rage. They were like tearing down through the streets. That was what scared the living daylights out of me. Watching Old Boy, and I can't remember the character's name, wake up from a coma in a hospital and then coming out and seeing absolutely nothing. Everything just looks like decimated. That's scary as hell. That blew my mind. So definitely 28 Days Later is one of my top films for Halloween and my horror film list. Coming in at number 6, Amityville. I don't like haunted movies, but I can't stay away from them. I can't stand haunted houses. And this movie, which is based, I suppose, on real life events, that scares the living daylights out of me. Like just looking at the house, if you see images of the house, it looks like the house has eyes. And if you put the lights on, it's like the eyes are glowing. But this house follows a family that moves into this Amityville home. And the house is haunted, and it causes the father to do some really, really strange things. And that is, again, one of those psychological thrillers for me and psychological horrors that just really puts you on the edge of the seat. You will not look at your house the same. So definitely Amityville makes my list. Coming in at number 5, The Descent. Now, this is a 2006 film that gave me some serious case of claustrophobia. I have never felt that in my entire life. So it features a character by the name of Sarah who goes to North Carolina along with her girlfriends, and they decide that they want to go exploring caves. Why y'all going to these caves? Y'all know what time it is. Anyway, as they start their descent into the cave, they start seeing these really strange markings, and that lets them know, hey, people were here before. And then they start encountering some beings that let them know, of course, they're not alone. The movie will give you a severe case of claustrophobia because it's filmed in extremely tight spaces. And of course, it's in the dark. It's far away from everybody else. It's just her and her girlfriends, and they have to fight off these beings. That movie gripped me in the moment. It was like, it showed how people can react when they are forced with something that is totally foreign to them, how they can turn on one another. The movie it pissed me off. It made me happy. It made me scared. Everything about that movie was just perfect. I encourage you to watch that movie, and I think it's even best when you go with friends because then you're going to have some serious discussions when the movie is done, I promise. Coming in at number 4, one of my absolute favorite horror movies of all time, The Ring, starring Naomi Watts. This movie, whew, oh my God. This is another movie that stayed with me throughout the years. It really starts off like in people's minds as a sort of urban legend that if you watch this tape and it has scary images on it and it has scary footage on it, you will receive a call with a voice that says 7 days, and in 7 days you die. And people, well, that's kind of like funny, isn't it? You're like, oh yeah, right. I'm going to watch this tape. The phone will just mysteriously ring. Nobody knows my number, but my phone will ring and someone will say 7 days. Okay. But listen, that's precisely what happens. And the movie is just another psychological thriller. It will leave you with some really gruesome images and some thoughts that'll just make you go like, what the hell is this? Like on the surface, you'll be like, what kind of movie is this? The movie is so good and so scary, in fact, that I remember staying with a girlfriend of mine and I had to ask her to go to the bathroom with me. I was like, I had to pee so bad throughout the night after watching this movie. And I was like, please just come with me to the restroom. And she's like, you want me to go to the bathroom with you? I was like, yes, I need you to come to the bathroom with me because I was so afraid. It just stayed with me. So definitely The Ring comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, Poltergeist 3. Of all of the horror genres and sequels and all that stuff, Poltergeist really, really creeps me the hell out. It really creeps me the hell out because it features one of the most, oh my God, ridiculously scary characters of all time. Listen, and I'm talking about Reverend Henry Kane. Reverend Henry Kane, who was, basically he shows up as a ghost of some former satanic cult leader. Like he was the leader of some utopian cult. And he basically drove his followers underground, I believe in some sort of cave. And, you know, he told them like the end of days was coming or something to that effect. I haven't watched the movie in a very long time. But the people all died and he died as well. This ninja possesses an entire building. And this was a no 3-story building. This was like a high-rise building. And he's so smart, he uses the mirrors as a gateway. Oh, ciao. Just watch the trailer for it. And if you are bold enough, you're not super scary, no, I wouldn't even tell you to watch it by yourself. Just watch it with somebody, okay? We're going to go to my number 2 pick, which is Poltergeist 2. And I know it's kind of weird to have the same movie back to back, but again, Reverend Cain was such a beast in this movie. And actually, that was the name. That was another name for him, the Beast. He just tried to capture this little girl, this innocent girl, Carol Ann, and take her back with him to this underworld. I don't even know what kind of world it was, but he was just the scariest thing on television, man. And he just has a look about him that is just really, really scary. His face looks almost like a skeleton because he's so thin, and his eyes are just kind of like wide, and he has these really big teeth. And he would dress in the black garb and the hat, and he was after Carol Ann, the little girl, and he just scared the you-know-what out of me. He scared the piss out of me, y'all. And to this day, like I had a friend who sent me an image, a gif of him, and I could not even sleep throughout the night. Like I literally had to turn on the TV, and I don't sleep with the TV. I had to turn on the television just to kind of like, you know, like get that image out of my mind. But it was super scary, so good job. So that brings me to my number 1 pick. The Exorcist. There's a reason why this movie continues to make horror film lists. It's that good. It's incredible. So a little girl by the name of Rogan is possessed by a demon, and they have to call in this priest to remove this demon from her. Movies about demonic spirits, the devil, anything like that, they usually are really, for me, cerebral. They just kind of permeate in my mind, because it's very possible. I am a believer, I'm a Christian, and I know that good exists along with evil. I know that devils and demons and all that exist. And so these types of things really get to me because they just get to me because they're demons, they're demonic. This isn't like a zombie that you can outrun. This isn't like a vampire who you could possibly outrun, or there's a remedy to it. You know what I mean? Demons just can permeate your life just so easy like that. And how do you get rid of them? How do you, I mean, how? So this movie really freaked me out. I remember years ago, my mother was, she started watching it with me, and then she was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I was like, no, watch it with me. Watch it with me. The first time I watched The Exorcist, I watched it by myself. I don't know what possessed me. I don't know what possessed me, but that movie just freaked me out, and it stayed with me for years. It's been parodied to hell, and it makes it really funny, but the original movie is just so crazy. But like I said, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and my favorite horror movie of all time, to the point that when I learned that the Exorcist steps where they filmed the pivotal scene in the movie was here in Washington, D.C., like I got super excited. I was like, I have to go to Georgetown to see those steps because I watched it so many times in the movie. But definitely one of those movies that stays with you. And I keep saying stays with you because you can go in and watch a horror movie or a zombie movie, a vampire movie, a Jason, a Freddy movie or whatever, and you can walk out and just be like, okay, that was fun. Yeah, that was kind of scary and had me jumping. But things that stay with you, when you hear little sounds in your house, when you see little... Hold on, what was that? Oh, this is my closet. Yeah, the things that just stay with you for a very long time, those are the ones that I feel are the scariest. And The Exorcist is definitely numero uno on my list. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching my video this week. Don't forget, new videos every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time right here on This Bahamian Gyal. And of course, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you'll know when my video is uploaded. And I also want to hear from you guys down below in the comments section. Let me know if you've watched any of these movies, if any of these movies really, really scared you. I said my number 1 pick was The Exorcist. Are there people out there who thought The Exorcist was whack, or you thought that it wasn't as scary? If so, please let me know down below and let me know what some of your favorites are. If you guys watch my video, please give me your top 3 horror films of all time. Drop them down below. I'm really interested because I like discovering new horror films as well. But thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to follow me as well on Facebook and on Instagram at This Bahamian Gyal. And of course, follow me on my blog at www.thisbahamiangyal.com. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next week, Wednesday. And that brings us closer to Halloween. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah. I'll see you next week.